Hey guys, Vol4Life here. Finally getting a chance to sit down and play Madden Overdrive. Been tied up all day. I thought it might be a cool thing to kind of go through just the step by step what it's going to ask you for as you start up before you enter into or before you log in for the first time. There's been a lot of confusion initially just with the game, and I thought, like I said, it'd be a cool thing to try to walk through it on a live stream and see what we see as we go through the process. So I've just gone through, I've logged into the account, and then I've gone through just the first step of opening up a basic pack in the store, waiting to trade in my season points if I can, or the preseason points until I see exactly which modes that I want to go through. But now we're in the tutorial session, so we're going to walk through some of these steps. So we go through daily goals where we can earn rewards. One of the difficult things in the game, it seems, this year is trying to earn coins in order to spend on players, or even try to sell players in the auction house if you get a hold of packs. But one of the first goals, we got to play an Overdrive match. So we'll go ahead and jump in, and let's see how we do. So again, we got to try to score fantasy points. We've got tactics that we can use in game. And so we'll see how this goes. So we'll have 3 minutes once we find an opponent to load up the models, and hopefully we won't get any sort of NTOs as we're trying to play. So everybody's seen the gameplay, but obviously it looks a lot better compared to our previous. We're pretty well matched, or evenly matched, and so now it's time for the match to start up. So in this case, let's go ahead and test out some running. Let's see how we go on the console side. There was always a really nice play, halfback sting, that was pretty useful. So in the game, you typically have to wait for the snap a little bit more. We've got good penetration there. It almost feels when you first start playing like it's as if it's being countered, but you just got to wait for that snap, wait for the quarterback to get a hold of the ball, and then you can run. So this shows the new fantasy scoring system and what we can do, and then the overdrive meter as we fill it up. And so we can then use offensive tactics to try to boost our own team, or we have defensive tactics that we can use to pressure the opponent and try to slow them down. A lot of people have been passing in the game deep early on, and so one of the things that you can do is to force them, that defensive tactic, to maybe have them have better pass coverage rather than focusing on the run. So we're going to use some overdrive on a tactic and boost our team. So we're going to do the minor power rush, and then that's going to give us a little bit of a boost there. So now we want to choose rush just to try to make sure we can do that. Spamming is supposed to not be an issue this year, and I believe it's gotten better over the last few hours of the game. But so far it's been an issue where people being able to spam the same plays over and over again. But that has caught up. So just be careful. Don't try to spam, especially in in level play, if you can help it. Simply because it's going to catch up to you, and the game is going to adjust a lot better than it did early on. So there we've got a few yards. We need to score faster though. We're going to try to do a fail Mary and see if we can keep a person from throwing deep. Let's go with a short pass. Let's see if we can do a basic sort of out route. Let's see if we can do double hinge and see if we can hit that halfback route that comes out to the outside. Again, you'll see this kind of stutters back a bit, and then we have the halfback open. We didn't quite make it into the end zone, but let's see if we can push through. Let's go and see how the QB runs in this game. So there we score with more, getting 60 points and some rushes. So now we're going to get back. So let's see if we can get maybe a boost on our side. See if we can go deep a little bit, and let's try a corner cross. See if our tight ends and or receivers can catch. So we got a little bit of a window there maybe. And so Decker drops the ball. Let's go back to the run. I think the run, if this is it looks like it's based off console, was a couple years ago, and if that's the case, the run was always a little bit more effective early on than passing was, especially if you had a situation where the teams were overmatched. Running usually could still get some penetration rather than completely not scoring at all. Let's see if we can get some short yardage, and we ran out of time. So right on our 3 minutes. So 23 to 120, got killed in that first. I thought I got killed in that first one, but we held them off. They we can look at the film still, and we can look at replays on this particular mode, and we can see our runs. We can see the second drive that we had. Game stats, we can see points scored, which is a really cool option that we have inside of here. Show us MVPs that we have, but some really cool things that we can see in terms of the results as we play the Overdrive matches. So then we get our first daily goals that we complete. We can claim and continue, at least pick up a little bit of XP and then some dollars. So the home button, it's showing us what it does here, where we can see our live events. We can see our daily Blitz events that will occur, and those are one-time events that they're going to refresh throughout the day. And so those, you want to make sure you try to capture them. Whether you got to set a timer or set a clock, you want to make sure you hit those so that you maximize any opportunity that you have to be able to get coins and XP. The Madden Academy is where you can start out with, we start unlocking the captains and the coaches, and that's where it gives you some information about the 4 different primary schemes that everybody's seen YouTube videos on so far. And so if we go into the Madden Academy, we'll see first of all we get the that we were a 2018 veteran, 2017-2018 veteran, so we get some potentially some unlocked things that are there. We'll check those out a little bit later. But if we go ahead and say we go into the daily Blitz events, for example, we've got the 24/7 mics, so we can complete this Blitz event. We can go in, and then that allows us to then start playing this event to hopefully try to catch up some points, especially where I've not gotten to play today. I need to make up some ground. And so in this case, we've got to run the gauntlet, similar to the running through the zone sort of challenge that we had in the previous season. And so in this case, we just want to zigzag up and down the field. I don't think we need to try to truck or do anything fancy, and then we can pretty easily score. Hopefully we can do the same thing again. In this, you want to make sure your controls on the running back are going to be a little bit more sensitive than they were in previous seasons. So if you push too far out, you see how he falls down, and so that's something I've got to get used to as well. But just slight movements as we go, we can really see those movement changes in terms of the running back. Same with the receivers. You got to be really sensitive on that, especially if you're playing like me, like I do on a phone usually. Then that's something we've got to adjust to over the course of the season. So when we get into Madden Academy, we can play events. Again, we unlock new coaches and captains, and then the key thing is you got to grind. We got to play events. We got to play Overdrive in order to earn what we need, the currency that we need to exchange for packs, get better players. But if we go into the Academy, we can see the 4 schemes that we have: West Coast versus Smash Mouth. Then we have the different spread and vertical. In my case, I think I'm going to go with spread initially. I think it's got the most balanced playbook, and that'll give me an opportunity to potentially spread out. So I think as I get into this, I'm going to go with spread initially, play with some of the plays, see what looks comfortable, see what works, and then dive deeper into either the West Coast, the Smash Mouth, or the vertical, depending on what happens. And so we have to start out first of all with the West Coast. Pick that up and we play. And you do want to make sure you got a pretty good signal, because it does take a little bit longer to load. If you're on a slow internet connection, it can take a while. So here we're just the same sort of thing, pass and run through the zone. So we're going to pass to the halfback here. Nice little short pass, and we missed the zone because I twitched the joystick a little bit too hard. So same route here. So a nice throw into the halfback, and then we want to run through the zones as many as we can. Again, very easy movements on the joystick. You got to be really careful not to push too hard, because it will force the running back into a little bit of an uncontrollable state. Again, very similar if you guys played console a couple years ago. Very similar to that kind of feel, but just having to do it with on a touch screen is a little bit different. So we've got 2 passing touchdowns. So let's see if we can get in double drags and hit our out route here pretty easily. Yep, wide open, and Decker gets the ball in. Let's do that one more time. Looks like that'll be a nice out route play. You got to hit the cut here as well. You'll see when he cuts, he's wide open in that space. Very limited windows in terms of passing, as CHF and some of the other guys have pointed out. So you got to hit those open moments and take the opportunities when they open up. So here we're looking at the West Coast playbook. So let's go circles and see if we can get the ball down the field a bit. And there we've got a good lead on the. Thought we were going to get unsuccessful. Let's go with Seattle. Let's see how the wide receiver goes down the field. So again, that safety comes back. We're probably going to be open for the deep ball as long as he can hang on to it. One more. Let's take a look at the short pass. There's a slip screen that we can do, and let's see who gets behind the DBs. So 3 of 3, and now we're in. We get the West Coast trainee, and we can open up the new drills that we can use to increase. So we get our first XP upgrade. And so now we get into where we can get new players. So we have enough currency where we can pick up some new players. We go to the store, and then here we can pick up our kind of tutorial pack that we have. It's going to have, you can hit the information symbol up there. We're going to have 70 overall West Coast player and 2 silver West Coast players that'll be in that pack. So let's go ahead and open that up and see what we get. And so we picked up a little bit better quarterback, which is good, and we picked up a little bit better wide receiver and an offensive tackle. So overall, not too bad. And so now we built a 65 overall offense, which is rough coming from our 130 defenses and 128 offenses from last season. And so these, as we go through, we can unlock each of these. You want to play each of those to open up the different modes, and then once you get into them, then you can go in and start working on earning different patches, earning the different captains, and choosing who you want. You don't have to pick that right away. You can kind of hold off and see what happens. But that's the Madden Academy. Packs are rough. I'll do some pack openings probably later this week. But packs are a little bit expensive compared to what they were previously. You know, 1,000 MC for a Gold Rush pack, which really only contains 10 Gold Plus players. You got 350 coach whistles and 350 captain patches. And so the packs are fairly expensive. Even the $100 pack that you have for a Gold Rush bundle, you got 10 of those Gold Rush packs, and then you get 2 elite players that are on there for for $100. And so it's the packs seem to be a little bit more expensive compared to what you get in the packs for each one, but we'll see how that pans out over the course of the year. Again, we can look at Madden Academy options that we can purchase. We have different elements here that we can purchase in terms of our tiers, or we can claim the different ace players that we can choose. And again, we can pick which things these are going to modify, which of these are going to help with in terms of our team. And so this, you just have to go through. You got to look and really kind of get a feel for which players are in each category and which ones are going to boost. Usually for me, I try to take speed options early on. There was a tweet earlier this evening where they adjusted the TO. If you pick the TO with speed, they dropped him from an 87 down to an 81. So be cognizant of that. That there was a change made there when you're making your selection if you've not gone through this yet. But generally I like to pick up speed early on, and then as the season progresses, then I'll move more towards awareness, where it starts to have a bigger impact overall throughout the game. So again, this gives you just a little bit of an overview of the new setup. We have our league options that we have, so we can see inside of our leagues. We've started our first match, so we got synced up with drives at dawn. I haven't dared yet to play my my level matches until I get some practice time in place. But be interesting to see how all this plays out with no live counters and not having to worry about that sort of stuff as we go through the matches, especially with the fantasy scoring, figuring out how that works. We can edit our lineup just like before. It's really nice in terms of the way we swap out players. Really cool animations as the cards kind of funnel out, which is really neat. So you can see our fairly pathetic team right now. When you get into the coaches, then we can actually change these out, and we can see. So Madden, that's in there. We've got our vertical setup, and so in here is where we can change our coaches that we may have, and we can level up the coaches and add those in and unlock those as we go, so that we can boost our particular play style. And again, I'm going with the spread initially because it has a fairly balanced playbook, and then it gives you a number of options where you can pick out, get a feel for each of the plays and the different types of tactics, get a feel for what you're comfortable with, what's working against with your play style, and then you can deep dive a little bit more into either the West Coast, the vertical, or the into the smash mouth tactic. But again, I'll call it a night and start trying to pick up a little bit here in terms of play, and hope to see you guys later this week with another video out on some of the packs, and then I'll have another video as well on some of the promos, how to grind those. And again, my channel is always about balancing between work-life and how do you deal with the grinding issues associated with the game and still stay competitive. Also, I've just started up got a new website that I got published today. It's www.mobilescoretracker.us, and there'll be some Madden Overdrive tips, tricks, strategies, videos that I'll post, feeds from various YouTube people, so you can share out and hit their links as well. There's also an exclusive season leaderboards. I right now have the league leaderboard up for league play. It shows just last year, but it gives you a little bit of an interactive chart where you can look at tables and you can look at statistics on how well each of the top 100 leagues are performing. And so as the Overdrive game goes on, that'll be updated, and it'll have new statistics so you can compare not only the top 100 and see how they're doing, but you can take your team and be able to compare it to that top 100. Pretty soon I'll have the ability where you can type in your information on your team, and then it will give you a statistics readout that shows how your league is performing against the others. Same with the head-to-head type player, the Overdrive type play. We'll have a leaderboard there where you can compare how you're doing compared to some of the best in the game. But you guys have a good night, and we'll talk to you later this week.